Okay, now that you chopped your onion and you've done it in slices, you're going to end up with round cookies like this. Okay, what we're doing with these cookies here is you can stack them back on top of each other, and sometimes when you slice them, they'll lay stack. I want you to cut them right in half. Just like that. Or you can just lay them out like this, just cut them in half. One quick half crunch like that. They'll break up when they're in the pan later. Or you can hand break them if you want, but then you're going to get real oniony and sticky, and your eyes might start watering. But what we've done here is, because we don't want these to be whole rings, we want them to be half rings. We want them to break up and blend in with what we're cooking. Okay? So that's how you take care of the onions. And now we get to the oil and butter to start making our caramelized onions. Okay, first thing first, you can use any butter you want. I prefer margarine myself, country crock. Now for this small of a portion, I'm just going to use a little bit of butter. Not too much. Okay, good for that. Now we're going to use extra virgin olive oil. Personally, I don't know why it's extra virgin. I think it's because they don't let the plants get it on before they squish them. We're not going to put much in there, just a little dab like that. I don't want a whole lot in there when we start to cook this. And now, what you do is you take that, turn on your burner. I want you to melt these two together, get them going, and once they're melted, we'll add the onion, salt, and pepper. Now that I've got my oil and my butter nice and blended and melted here, too, I'm just going to add our onions. So, take your onions and throw them on in there, just like that. And I'm not a big fan of salt and pepper, but for this dish it helps. So a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, to your taste, what you like. You know, you can always add more if you're a heavy pepper fan, add less if you're not. And then continue to stir and scrape this and let it keep sizzling down until you get your onions a nice golden brown. Now, as I'm sure you can see by now, my onions are going good. Now, what I want to do now is add a little bit of sugar. Yes, sugar over my onions. Add a scoop. And you don't want to put too much, just enough to get them the way you want them. Now, that sugar is going to help caramelizing, change the flavor of this onion, and cut that grease a little too. It's going to be real nice. Sugar is the secret to a lot of good things. Now, I'm not making a big portion here right now, but I will be soon. Now, what I want to do is I have some already sliced mushrooms that I have done. I'm kind of making this kind of a vegetarian one. I've already sliced these pre-hand. There they go in there. Now, let's mix my mushrooms in a little bit with my onions real quick. As you see, what we got cooking. Now, I have do a little more light in here. Now what I want to do, I want to add a little Marsala cooking wine. Now, it doesn't take a lot. Pour a little bit of that in there. And I want you also to go and get yourself some brandy. Doesn't matter what company, VSOP's preferred. It's gonna put a little brandy in there, and now we're going to cook it down a little. Keep cooking it, keep cooking it, keep cooking it. We've added that stuff in. Let the mushrooms start to soften. Let the mushrooms absorb all that flavor too. The mushrooms are a great catalyst to absorb flavors, to introduce them to other things. Wonderful. I don't know if you've noticed, but while I'm doing this, I have this pan here. Now I'm heating water, getting it ready to boil. That way I can make a pasta for this dish. This stuff takes a lot longer to cook, so right about the time you're getting near here, you want to start getting your water boiling. I usually keep it at a medium heat until right when I get to this point, and then I jack it up to high so it starts cooking faster. Get that boiling here pretty soon, and then we'll be able to make some pasta for this dish. As we're cooking down our wine and onions and mushrooms, I get a nice consistency out of that, nice broth to it. Now, also that we've done that, I'm going to go take a beef broth. Simple beef broth like this. And once you cook down the alcohol about 50%, then we want to come in with this broth. We want to dump a good bit of beef broth in here. Look at that. Yeah, there you go. That's about it. Start cooking that in. Beef broth on. And then you can do the same thing with our chicken broth. Also dump in some chicken broth to this. Now I'm working with leftovers I have around my kitchen. That's why I have the size proportion I'm making of this. It's a lot smaller than I normally would. But it's going to give you a good flavor. Really nice taste to go with pasta. And you can add chicken to this. Veal if you know how to prepare it correctly to make it soft. Quite a few different things you can mix with this dish. Now here's something else I happen to notice I have in my kitchen, which I don't really need right now. And before it goes bad, I better cut it up and get rid of it, and that's green onion. Now, I cut off the base, the white. Come in here and you can use it, you can even use leek, or anything like that in here. And I'm just using scissors to go chop chop right over top of this and introduce some green onion to it. Like I said, I'm kind of winging this dish based off a few different dishes that I cook. So this is something I'm just making up as we go here, kind of. This is a basic already knowledge of other dishes that I make. Here I've introduced a nice onion to that. And you can even put in a little garlic if you wanted. You know, anything you feel it'll blend with the ingredients that we're using. Okay, so now I have this sizzling away there with my alcohol and broth, all of that, onions, mushrooms, everything. So now what I want to do is have some heavy cream. Yes, you get this heavy cream. I got this at Publix. You can get it anywhere. I'm introducing heavy cream to my dish. Just going to give me a nice taste mixed with that wine and all the other flavors I've introduced with the caramelized onions. Put in this. Now we're going to let this cook like that for a little while. Let it start to boil. Then we're going to want to reduce the heat and let it simmer for a little while, scraping the bottom regularly to make sure that nothing's sticking. Also to scrape up that delicious caramelized onion and mushroom flavors that are going to be getting on the bottom of this dish. And this is almost a boil. Ready to start adding pasta to this. So then we can end up using this for the pasta. Now watch this dish, because when it boils, it'll suddenly start boiling out of nowhere fast. Keep a good eye on it, okay? Now, I've removed sauce from heat because I was a little slow putting my pasta in, which is fine. You know, it's not going to bother anything. So just after you simmer it a little while, remove it from the heat, let it sit there for a little bit, and then you can go through. Now, I've particularly chosen bow ties just for the look. They take a little longer to cook. They're a pain in the butt, but you got to really stay here and pay attention to your bow ties, because the middle wants to stay harder than the edges. So you only have like a 3-minute, 2-minute window, actually, maybe even a little less, to pull them off to make them perfect with just enough bounce, not too hard in the middle, not too soft on the edges. So if I was you, I'd definitely stay nearby with those. Don't just walk away and let them get away from you. And they do take a little while to cook. I use Rinzoni. Personally, my favorite pastas, if I'm going to not make my own. Eventually I'll cover making pasta for you and teach you a few different pasta techniques. But this is a great product. I personally use a lot. You can buy fresh pasta from a pasta maker. It gets a little bit pricey, so most moms in the kitchen on a budget, and if you're going to get pasta, at least get this, you know. Makes it a lot better for dinner. Now, something else I found, just poking through my kitchen. I was thinking maybe I do want to add a little meat to this dish, even though I've done it without meat a million times too. And I'm looking through my fridge. I don't feel like pulling out a boneless, skinless chicken breast and grilling that, doing the whole deal. So what did I do? I noticed I have a Sam's Club rotisserie chicken that was conveniently in my fridge from the other night. So you can see 3/4 of the chicken is still left. So rather than this just keep sitting there and going to waste while I'm cooking new things, I'll incorporate this into my dish. So what I'll do is I'll debone, I'll pick this meat, and I will introduce it into my dish. And the rotisserie chicken from Sam's is actually really good. The chicken rub they use on the outside is delicious. So maybe some of that flavor will rub off in this dish. Give us a little something extra. I've never actually tried using the rotisserie with this before, so I usually grill my own chicken. So we'll see how this works. One other little thing we're going to add to this dish before we're done, now that I've got it sitting there, is a little bit of Grey Poupon. Yes, Grey Poupon. No, it's actually a Dijon mustard that's used, wine is actually used to make it. This one uses honey as well. I'm going to put a little bit of Grey Poupon. I use a honey Dijon myself, you don't have to. But add that to it. Get a nice consistency. And it actually, that little bit, believe it or not, does a lot for this dish. So pasta's almost done. We're almost ready to go to the next step. I'm kind of going a little out of order with this. I should have probably added this a little sooner. I'm thinking about it, but I still want to add it because I kind of like the taste of basil in this dish. So what I want to do is take a little basil, and you know, that's up to your taste how much basil you're going to add to this dish. I particularly like basil, so I add a good amount to it. And should have probably added this back when I was caramelizing the onions, or right when I first started putting the wine in, actually. Probably been a lot better. But it's still going to blend in here. I'll let it sizzle a little bit down here. It'll come back into it. Just won't have quite the punch it normally does. Okay, now I've got this back to a nice heavy boil, basically. What I want to do is scrape the sides down a little bit. All that juiciness on the sides, that heavy sticky stuff, is actually pretty good, believe it or not. So now what we're doing is that basil in. Now what I want to do is you put the pasta in when you're doing just a freelance one like this, where we're not really measuring too much, we're just kind of doing it. Put as much pasta as you feel you want in your dish as proportion to sauce. You know, you don't have to put it all in. You mix it in like this, take a look at it, say, hey, you know, that's enough. I don't want any more pasta. I want to have a good juiciness to it instead of drying it out with too much pasta. So put your pasta in your dish like this. Once you mix it in good, get all that pasta wet and sticky with all the juicy gravy we just made. It's a wonderfully delicious dish. Okay, you can tell by the smell. Okay, and then don't forget the final ingredient with this one, Parmesan cheese. Put a little Parmesan cheese over this. And that's kind of to taste too, you know. Figure out what you like. A lot, a little. I don't know how much of a Parmesan fan you are. I'm not a real big Parmesan fan, but this really helps this dish. Thickens it a lot. You want to mix that so you get a nice consistency on here. You don't have any leftover chunks of Parmesan cheese anywhere. Trying to mix it completely in. Don't lose an onion. Little guy tried to escape the swimming pool. He's like, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. Usually you hear the kids say, cold, cold, cold. And that's pretty much going to be your dish. You're going to serve and you're all set. And garnish with parsley, fresh parsley. And let's just remember one thing. Now that you made this wonderfully delicious dish, don't be afraid to tell your loved ones if they want to sample this wonderfully delicious dish. They have to clean the dishes. Thank you. This is Wayne signing off. Have a good night.